Today, we're diving into the story of Reuben Sandoval, a best-selling author whose own life became way more dramatic than anything he ever wrote. Seriously, it's a story that kicks off with massive success and what looks like a perfect fairy tale romance. But then it takes a turn that makes you question everything you think you know about love and especially about trust.
So meet Reuben Sandoval. At 50 years old, he doesn't just walk into a room. He owns it. His confidence is just palpable. He even says it himself. His presence is like an opening chord. It's powerful, and you are definitely not going to forget it. He's not just a guy. He's an entire experience.
You have to understand, Reuben has achieved every single material goal you could possibly imagine. He's built this fortress of success all by himself. But as we're about to see, a fortress can also start to feel a lot like a gilded cage.
I mean, the scale of his journey is just mind-blowing. This is a man who's sold over 11 million books. He drives a brand new Bentley, wears custom-made suits. But here's the part that really gets you. He came to the US completely penniless. That journey from having absolutely nothing to becoming this literary icon is so crucial to understanding who he is.
And right here, this is the heart of the conflict. Because behind all the public success, there's this deep, private loneliness. He's adored by millions of fans, but he's really just longing for one real, genuine connection. All the awards and money in the world couldn't fill that hole. And then, just like a plot twist in one of his own novels, a hero seems to step right off the page and into his life. This is it. This is where the fairy tale he's been waiting for seems to finally begin. Imagine hearing these words. This is what Kyle says to him, and it just changes everything for Reuben. It feels instant, profound, less like some random meeting and more like destiny. For a guy who's felt so alone for so long, these words are everything. They're the promise that his search is finally over.
Reuben even comes up with a nickname for him, Supernova. Now, think about what that means. A supernova is this brilliant, powerful, life-altering explosion. That's the kind of impact Kyle has on him, right from the start. He's not just another person. He is a cosmic event in Reuben's quiet world.
And the change in Reuben's life is it's night and day. Before Kyle, his world felt defined by betrayal, by feeling used and empty. With Kyle, everything is different. He feels protected, he feels seen, and maybe, for the first time ever, he believes that the happy ending he always writes for his characters might actually be for him too. At this point, Reuben is absolutely convinced. Kyle is his salvation. He truly sees him as the hero from his novels come to life to make everything whole. The dream feels completely, totally real. Or at least, that's how it seems. But this is where the story takes a sharp, brutal turn. These words, they're actually from the book's dedication, and they're a huge warning sign. The fairy tale is about to absolutely shatter and reveal that it was nothing more than a carefully built illusion. And that's the terrifying question that changes everything. What if this perfect hero, this salvation, was a complete and utter fabrication? This is the exact moment the whole beautiful story begins to crumble into dust.
And here it is, the brutal, devastating reality. My supernova was actually a con artist. My salvation turned out to be an abuser. And my hero was nothing but a coward. The man Reuben fell so deeply in love with, he never even existed.
The betrayal goes deeper and is more cruel than you can even imagine. Kyle knowingly gives Reuben HIV. But the truly monstrous part, the part that's hard to even wrap your head around, when he tells him, he laughs. He actually finds it funny to watch Reuben's entire world fall apart.
And the abuse wasn't just a single act of cruelty. It was a systematic process of dismantling Reuben's very identity. He was completely dehumanized, treated not like a partner, but like a possession, a toy to be used and controlled for Kyle's own twisted entertainment.
And then, the physical violence started. The illusion wasn't just shattered, it was literally beaten out of him. The abuse got worse and worse until Reuben was left bruised and broken, looking in the mirror and not even recognizing the person staring back. But this is not where his story ends. Not by a long shot. This last part is about what happens after the fairy tale has burned to the ground. It's about the painful but incredibly powerful journey of reclaiming your life from the absolute ashes of betrayal. So, how in the world do you come back from something like that? For Reuben, it was a very conscious three-step path. First, he had to acknowledge the painful truth that his identity had become completely wrapped up in his abuser. Second, he had to somehow survive the crushing solitude, and he did that by escaping into his craft, into writing. And finally, the hardest step of all, he had to reclaim his own story.
For Reuben, writing stopped being a career and became a lifeline, literally. When everything else was gone, he clung to words. He wrote his way through the trauma, just pouring all of his pain onto the page. It was the only thing that kept him from completely drowning in despair.
And through that process of writing, something starts to shift. He starts to find his voice again. And it begins with this powerful declaration, aimed right at the ghost of his abuser. It's the very first crack in the walls of the prison he's been living in.
And then that voice gets stronger. You can feel the shift. This isn't a plea anymore, it's a command. He's not the victim here. He's actively, forcefully pushing the darkness out.
And then, this. The final, definitive break. 3 simple words, but each one lands like a hammer blow, shattering the chains of his past. He is cutting the cord, once and for all. He's done. He is free.
And this is the ultimate victory. He realizes the goal was never just to survive what happened to him, but to rise above it. He understands that all that pain didn't actually break him. No, it forged him into someone stronger, more resilient, and ultimately better than the person who tried to destroy him.
It took 1 year, a single year, to process all that trauma, reclaim his voice, and turn all that suffering into art. And the result? It's the very book that tells this story, a powerful, incredible testament to his survival.
So, we end with this question, which really gets to the heart of it all. Reuben's journey was about taking back his story, for sure. But really, it was about learning to see himself again, to trust his own reflection after the person he trusted most tried to make him a stranger to himself. And it's a question for all of us, really. When something you believed in with all your heart turns out to be a lie, how do you even begin to rebuild your own reality?